What's happening, guys? Mic check, mic check. Sweet, sweet, sweet. How's everybody doing today, Mum? I'll give it another minute and then we'll start marking up some levels and getting an idea of what we could expect to see today for the rate announcement. Don't forget to give the stream a like. All helps. How's the music, by the way? Is it really loud? Is it not loud enough? Be nice to have something in the background, that's all. Sweet. Excellent, excellent. All right, that's fantastic. All right, so we've got rate announcement today. All right, I'm going to be hanging around till New York Open. We'll see what happens for about 10 minutes, and if we don't get anything favourable, then obviously we'll just kind of come back at, about 10 to 7 GMT time, roughly about 5 hours for the rate announcement. Mobile iPhone text is terrible. Yeah. But for now, let's take a look at the daily. Let's kind of clean this up a little bit as well. So, first thing we want to make reference to, right, is this. Okay? Price came up. Whatever liquidity was above here, any stops, any orders, anything, right? Price ran through and rejected very nicely, right? So we could either run into this wick today, right? And then start to make our way lower. But in my opinion, I think we're probably going to stabilize in this area until the rate announcement. And I think we're probably due. Well, I say that. To be honest, this could go both ways at the moment. Just looking at the daily here, I mean, this could quite easily go up just as much as it can go down. If we're just looking at purely order flow and what the kind of chart's saying, the way we're trending lower, kind of consolidating here, and now we've got this other broad range consolidation here as well, which we can see kind of like this. So you've got this kind of consolidation going sideways. We could quite easily break out or break down. Absolute key level down here, very, very important level, obviously, where all these wicks are. You can see price has spent time here, spent time here, spent time here. So it's a key level. It doesn't necessarily mean it's 11,466, but somewhere around there, is roughly where we're looking for price to at least want to drive to. About 300 points lower, 300, 400 points lower. B guy, how you doing? Billy, how you doing? And then a potential run, obviously, down to these lower levels. If we just jump up to the weekly, you can see it's a little bit more messier on the weekly. But here's the challenge, right? I mean, we're clearly in a downtrend. There's no question about that. Pretty, mind you. I'm not a fan of trend lines, obviously, but you can clearly see that this is going lower on the weekly chart. And this rally just here was pretty significant drop, rally, pretty significant drop, and then we're getting a little bit messy. This is a messier rally, right? And there's obviously an area here where price wanted to stall. So, like, if we're just looking at it like this, right? Wow, okay, that's like super bright. Yeah, something like that. That'll do. So you can see price. Look at these rallies. So clean rally, drop. Clean rally, drop, right? This small break right here before the next impulse leg to the downside to take out this low, right, created an area where there could potentially be housing a little bit of liquidity, right? So we've got this nice rally into this area. If you just look at the weekly, nothing else, you're not worried about any numbers, you're not worried about what you think is going on. You can clearly see that price has come into this level and it's responded, right? Fantastic. That's all we need to know. So we know that we had a break pause all the way down. We dropped down to the daily again. We can see, a little bit more structure on the way prices ran up. It's reversed, and obviously now it's kind of stabilizing here. But the problem is, like I said, we're in the middle of this consolidation, so price could quite easily go up just as much as it could quite easily go down. And the problem is right now, because we have the rate announcement later this evening, this wick isn't as important as it would normally be on a normal day. Right, so this is again something that we have to be mindful of. In terms of just very sort of short-term market open, is there something we can take for a quick 20 points, 30 points? We'll see. You can see 15-minute has basically just been grinding sideways, but each one of these 15-minute candles over the last 30 has been roughly 17 points or so, which is not too bad. Not too bad. The range is okay. But you've got to start asking yourself a question. Would you want to sit? Bearing in mind these aren't tick related, right? So it's not per 0.4 ticks or anything like that. It's not contract based. Would you want to sit for 15 minutes to get 17 points? I personally wouldn't, right? If we drop down to the 5 hour, drop down to the 5 minute, you can see again a little bit of an up and down. Range is okay, about 55 point range on that last run, and obviously the reversal. But again, we could quite easily run up just as much as we could quite easily run down. So we're kind of neutral going into the open. You look at the hourly chart over here. So we just zoom in a little bit. You can see this move from yesterday. So this was the CPI candle. So CPI numbers, reversal, completely negated. And now we're just kind of grinding sideways, and this is akin to basically just waiting for market open, and then obviously the rate announcement later this evening. So we're just gonna have to wait for the market to open and just kind of see where we're at, on that side of things. Let's head over to the crypto market, and I'm going to have to there we go, that's better. You should see the screen pop up in a second. There we go. So you'll notice I made a call on Twitter recently saying 235 on Binance before the end of the year, right? There's just too much going on. There's just way too much going on, whether it's real, whether it's FUD, whether it's irrelevant, whether it's just the truth, a lie. It doesn't matter. The reality is there's a lot going on in the cryptocurrency market, and it's all going towards Binance at the moment, right? You've got this BUSD problem, in terms of the inconsistencies of information, the misunderstandings, of how Paxos are integrated into the BUSD side of things, in terms of the ERC side, or the Binance side, BEP20, definitely worth looking into all of this. But ultimately, what's come out of that is the BUSD that is on the Binance Smart Chain is fully backed by reserves, right? So fantastic. But it's not backed by Paxos. This is very, very important. The token that is backed by Paxos, the BUSD, is on the Ethereum blockchain. Okay, very important distinction to make. So with all of that said, I am expecting that continuation to the downside, and I do expect that, I do expect to see 235 before the end of the year, right? Now, obviously, because I've said it, price is going to rip to the upside and go to like 520, and I'll get all the hate mail and all the usual crap before it ends up all the way down to like 150, and then I'll just say I told you so, right? But I'm splitting hairs. But the point is, we've got stuff going on right now, so I'm really not confident, even thinking about engaging with cryptocurrency at all, until next year now. For those of us that are over at Swissborg, I think, to be fair, it's just basically the same, waiting for market to do its thing, and I think we are going to end up down here at some point on Swissborg around about 11. I've been calling this for a while, but not really discussing it much. And it's got nothing to do with anything that I discuss about cryptocurrency has nothing to do specifically with a particular project or a company or anything like that, right? It's just market related. Ultimately we are going to get a drop on cryptocurrency, and I firmly believe this. When that happens, everything's going to go with it, kind of reset. PaxG, which is basically just a replica of gold, effectively, is stabilizing, holding pretty strong. If I just add, just to show you guys, yeah, spot gold, that'll do, we'll use that one. So if we just take a look at spot gold, and it's important to keep an eye on commodities, to be honest, but you can see, very, very nice stability up here. We've had that last final drop, now we're starting to stabilize. Personally, I think we should be up at the 2000s on gold. There's money moving out of stocks and definitely moving out of cryptocurrency, no question about it, but people aren't buying gold. They were buying dollars for a while the dollar was screaming to the upside, and obviously we've had this really aggressive reversal now on the dollar index, probably stabilize around about 103, 102, and could potentially go as low as 100, but I am expecting a bounce here on the dollar index at some point, 103.95, 104, that sort of area. But the point being is people were putting money, big money was going into the dollar, wasn't really going into into gold at the time, which is unfortunate because, like I said, that shows people just don't have any there's no investor confidence. Sentiment is quite poor at the minute. So we have to let this year finish. Let this year finish, chill out, go into next year fresh, save your money if you can, put a little bit aside, and then try to take advantage of whatever comes next year in terms of any downturns in the market, right? So let's get back to the Nasdaq. And now it's just a waiting game. We're just going to chill. We're going to wait. Any questions, let me know. Not really much to see on these lower time frames on the Nasdaq, to be honest. I think we run up, I think we're going to have a bit of a run up on the open. The ideal scenario would be that when the market opens in about 17 minutes, we get a really nice run to the upside and then a complete collapse, and it starts to run aggressively lower. If that happens, it would be perfect because we can just pick it up from the point of entry. So from the point of impulse. What I'm saying is, if price pops from where it currently is right now and really starts to go, and then it reverses, the point of impulse is the area where we want to be paying the most attention to. So as price comes back to it, kind of crosses through it, we've always got the opportunity to take 20 points to the downside, potentially lower into this wick over here. So you have that confirmation as well. So there's a lot to consider. But again, it's just purely market dependent now. We just got to kind of wait, and we may as well just get a very muted open, with not a great deal going on, purely based on the fact that we're waiting for the rate announcement a little later. So again, just bear that in mind. Sweet, nice. So let's get a little bit of a engagement if you guys are able to. Let me know what type of traders you are. Do you predominantly trade? Do any of you guys trade actively? Are you more sort of focused on investing longer term? Are you crypto? Are you stocks, forex, indices, commodities, options? What's everybody doing? Okay, Nordic saying investing long term, good. JT learning, very, very good. Yeah. Sergio, it did, absolutely. Yeah. I'm not expecting anything special, during the market open, but I want to be consistent, with these market opens. B guy, I was asked a question you maybe can reply. Why a project would choose to be paired with a coin which has some kind of volatility instead of pairing with a I'm gonna assume stable coin, so it can rely on its own strength. Yeah, we've right. I know where you're going with this, Bigar, and I completely agree with you. Yeah. Here's the thing: a lot of these projects, right, on the Binance Smart Chain, predominantly on the Binance Smart Chain. Okay, that started last year, or in the last year and a half. Okay, possibly up to 2 years, were launching during a time where Binance was very strong. Okay. 400s, 500s, 600s, and in some cases basically all-time high, right? So we had this very different dynamic that was happening in the cryptocurrency market at the time. Things were really strong, things were very, very healthy, everything looked great, Bitcoin was ripping, and there's a lot of, great positive sentiment out there, right? So about 7 months ago, I was having a conversation with a really good friend, and I said, we were talking about, projects and this and that, and I was like, to be honest, stablecoin pairing probably makes more sense for the exact reasons that you've just outlined. And I'm not saying I was the only one that thought of this. Everybody, like we all, anybody that has anything to do with cryptocurrency or is, on a project that is within the cryptocurrency space thinks the same way. We're all trying to find ways to protect our investors, to protect the integrity of the projects that we're in, and to make sure that we minimize as much as possible the market volatility, especially in cryptocurrency, which can be extremely volatile, right? So it's the question is an interesting one, why would a project choose to be paired with something that's volatile as opposed to being something that's, stable? It's the market condition. Now you have a lot more projects thinking along the lines of maybe it might be a good idea to pair with something that's stable, but then the fear is still there because you have things like Terra Luna, you have things like USDT, slightly depegging. When's the next stable coin gonna collapse? These are the things that we, as project owners, creators, thinkers, think about while we're in the process of trying to figure out how to stabilize our projects. So there is an answer to all of this. I'll announce it soon, but we'll get to that point when we get to it. Nordics learning too, good stuff. ETFs long term, nice one, big guy. And crypto, good. Yeah, ETFs are solid. Crypto, obviously, is I believe cryptocurrency will be around for a while. Billy's saying, I used to day trade, but it consumed too much of my time. Now I'm long-term waiting for Binance to drop 200s, and then we'll engage again. Patience is something huge that I learned from you. I appreciate that, man. And that's good. It does. Day trading definitely does take up a lot of your time. Absolutely, 100%. When I was, heavily into trading, predominantly QCOM, but sometimes some of the ETFs like FAS, which was extremely volatile. I absolutely love trading, FAS, which is basically the financial ETF. I was literally 18 hours a day. It was horrendous. Like you can't keep something like that up for a long period of time. I did it for years and I burnt out basically. Can you do a live stream this afternoon for FOMC? Yeah, I will be. Yeah. Yep, I'll be doing that. Just be mindful, I'm not a football fan per se, but football's going to be on France versus Morocco. That starts at 7 p.m. when the rate announcement happens, so I'm not going to be on for too long because I don't really care about the football per se, but I want to sit down with my family and watch it together as a family. So, but then you probably also need to move away from the Binance chain, right? No, not at all, Mike. You wouldn't need to move away from the Binance chain. You can have your smart contract, right, on any chain. So it could be the the BSC chain, it could be the Ethereum chain, it could be Avalanche, it could be Polygon, whatever, and then still pair your token with the for example a stable coin that's on any one of these chains, right? So the reason most people predominantly focus on the Binance Smart Chain is because of gas fees. They're very, very cheap. Avalanche is good as well. Polygon is good. Ethereum is absolute disaster. In terms of gas fees, absolutely horrendous. Family is very important. Very, very important to me. Very important. yeah, if the Binance exchange goes down, then ultimately it is going to affect the price of Binance, BNB, right? And if it affects the price of BNB, it's going to affect any project that's on the Binance Smart Chain, period. 100%. So we are in very tentative times. Everybody's looking very, very good. France, Bigor, 100% France. Let's go over to crypto news. Crypto news today. Let's take a look and see. Sam Bankman-Fried arrested. Crypto boss hugs parents as he's denied bail over one of biggest financial frauds in US history. Really? So AIG, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, were these not fraud? I guess not. Anyway, let's not get into that. Sorry, a bit of sarcasm there. Let's have a look here. Elizabeth Warren unveils... Nope. Oh, listen to this. Here we go. This is interesting. Elizabeth Warren unveils bipartisan bill to crack down on crypto money laundering. Yeah, because now you want to get your CBDCs out there, right? So now it's an issue. Now it's a problem. Yeah, maybe this was a really bad idea. Mind me checking the cryptocurrency news. Oh dear. Oh, there's some people live. That's Russian. That's the Cyrillic alphabet. Tutto sobre NFT se defistire. Subida de tipos. What else have we got? Denied bail. Yep, denied bail. Why only US? He took money from everywhere in the world. Yes, he did. Everywhere. That is crazy. Absolutely. This man, I don't believe for 1 second that he is as innocent as he keeps claiming to be. I think he's completely full of shit, to be honest. He's just another fraudster that got caught. World's largest crypto exchange, Binance, suspended withdrawals after 1.9 billion was cashed out in 24 hours. Yes, we've been through all of this. This is basically a banking issue. Nothing to do with Binance. Crypto's Binance seeks to reassure over reserves. Yes. Ether prices reached a 1 month high today. What's next for cryptocurrency? I don't know. Tell us, Forbes. Prices rose. Just having a quick scan through this, guys. I'm just looking for anything interesting. We've got about 6 minutes for market open. So, Mr. Zlatan. I really love this guy. Ibrahimovic. Cryptocurrency also wants to take on matter. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Go away. Binance founder insists that we can trust his crypto exchange, but can we? Okay, interesting. God, I hate these things. Monday's arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried capped off a historic period in the world of memes, money, and mayhem. That is the cryptocurrency industry. The arrest of the FTX exchange founder drew mainstream headlines, etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. Wow. At one point, the third largest crypto exchange. You see, this is another problem for me because it's supposed to be the second largest cryptocurrency exchange by spot volume, which is actually recorded, but processed around 37 billion in spot trades in October. Wow. 37 billion just in October. The second largest exchange, Coinbase, processed 47 billion that month, so that's not bad. Between the two of them, not that far apart, 10 billion apiece. Well, 10 billion difference. Binance spot trading volume in October is a whopping 390 billion. That just goes to show you the absolute and sheer magnitude, of Binance. Look at the difference in the month of October. Yeah. FTX spot volume was 37 billion, right? Coinbase.com, 47 billion that month, and Binance a whopping 390 billion in spot volume. That is absolutely insane. So it just goes to show you how big Binance actually is, you know. So to be honest, and I'll just say it right now, if anything happens to Binance, it's not gonna end well. Like, it really isn't going to end well for cryptocurrency at all, to be fair. You know, I said, and don't quote me on this, but I said a while back, I can't remember where I said it, but I was basically saying, you know, in the end, there'll be two left, you know. I think Coinbase, because it's listed. So there's a need to protect that one. And then, I'm not sure. But I believe Coinbase will be around. What have we got here? The Russian says BTC and ETH concurs. Oh, okay. Thanks, mate. Thanks. Would you say it's worth watching and reading all these clickbait articles, or is it mostly FOMO or hype? I think it's complete horseshit, Bigar. But it's great to get an idea of what you want to do. This is how I look at the news, right? So I read all the headlines and I start to look for consistencies throughout all the headlines. And if you can get let's say there's 10 articles and you can get 7 of those articles saying roughly the same thing, then you know it's complete horseshit. That's just how I am. I look at things and I'm like, yeah, it makes no sense. Why would 7 articles? Because the argument would be, well, of course people are going to be agreeing because it's the same news, right? I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, if you're not focused on the news that matters for the investors, and you're focused predominantly on news and releasing news that is more in line with institutions or protecting, you know, the larger investors, then that, for me, that's just not really news. You know, you're trying to scare everybody, you know, into cryptocurrency is really, really bad. Wait for us. We have our, you know, CBDC. It's coming soon. Honestly, and let's just be completely frank. You know, there's artificial intelligent systems out there, right, that could actually post all of this anyway. How do we even know this is coming from the news sources it says it's coming from? You know, come on, man. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. We can only trust or verify what we see out in the world, I think, personally. All right. So let's get back to the charts. Market's going to open in 2 minutes. Currently in pre-market at the moment for New York Open. Price is currently at 804, 11804. So we're hovering around the 800 handle, right, at the whole number. And again, definitely something we want to be paying attention to. I'll even go one step further, Bigar, and I'll say, can you remember when Bitcoin was at 69,000? What was everybody saying back then? What were all the news outlets saying about Bitcoin back then? The influencers, the news outlets, the YouTube videos, everything. What was the one number that kept coming up over and over and over and over and over again with Bitcoin? $100K, right? Exactly. And then after that, it was 200K, and then 1 million, and then 5 million, right? Very specific numbers. Yeah. Bitcoin's at what, 18,000 now? So they push and they push and they push this narrative, yeah, to get people to pile into the market at all the wrong times, and then they just tank price. We've seen all we've seen all of this before. So the market's open now. Let's just take a look at the Nasdaq. Let's focus on what we're doing. Again, not expecting much, guys. This stream probably won't go on for much longer than, you know, another 10 minutes or so. Just want to watch the next 10, 15 minutes. You know, first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes. You know, 940 reversal. I want to see if we get a little bit of a reversal. We have a very tight range on the 15-minute chart here. So if we just go ahead and we place, you know, little bit of resistance up here, very loose. This is very, very loose, and obviously we have this area down here where price could potentially want to reach again. So we've got this very tight consolidation going on right now. The range of this consolidation is basically 50 points. I mean, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing, you know, for the Nasdaq. And let's change this color so we can see. Let's go for a little bit of a lighter blue. There we go. I want to be able to see these numbers. I want to break out one way or another. I think Bitcoin's going to hit 8K. To be honest. 11,655. I'm not changing my mind. That's what the analysis is saying. That's what the math is. Everything's pointing to 11,655. Everything. I can't tell you how many times I've gone over that chart. Multiple time frame analysis. I've gone through all the numbers. I've checked every single digit of every single chart that I've looked at. Keeps coming up the same. 11,655. Okay, market's been open for a couple of minutes. You can see how sluggish the market is right now. Definitely waiting for FOMC. The market is 100%. It's a big day. Big day. What's the expectation? Let's take a look. They're saying 4.5. Yeah, 50 basis points. Okay. Let's make this a little bit easier for you guys. So down here, look, 4.5. So that's the forecast. We'll see whether or not that is the case. I mean, if the expectation is 0.5, market's sluggish. Let's take a look at the market again. A little bit of a run now on the Nasdaq. So if the expectation is 0.5, you know, the thinking, at least that I'm going through, is I want to see a shocker, right? I want to see something really stupid, like it stays at 4 or it's 75 basis points, or even insaner, like something really stupid like 5%. If it goes 100 basis points, that would be absolutely insane. That's what I want to see, yeah, because it shocks the market and we get a lot more volatility. Things start moving, and there's something that we can do with that information. Whereas if it just hits a forecast and it's, you know, on point, yeah, people are expecting it. There's no real change. Nothing else really happens, you know, and it gets a little bit sort of like whatever, right? So these are the things that I want to kind of focus on. Market algos will go crazy in the first 3 minutes after FOMC release, and I'm calling a 1.5. Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts. So look at this on the 15-minute chart of the Nasdaq, right? We're just clearing this top end of this very sort of tight range, 40 pip range, 50 pip range, point range. Little bit of a run, so we're currently at 859, 860. Just testing this area to see. So what I would like to see now at this point, right? Because I'm absolutely not taking a long. There's no way that I'm taking a long, you know, on the Nasdaq, not a chance. So what I would like to see is I'd like to see this reversed, right? So in about 6 minutes when we get 940 reversal, I'd like to see, you know, a little bit of a run to the downside, start to kind of get closer to that 800, you know, handle again, 11,800, maybe 20, 25, 20, 15, kind of hover around there and give us a little bit more of a confirmational indication that price wants to run a little bit lower to take out these lows down here. If there's a 30-point range there, fantastic. You know, we can capture something really quick and then we can move on. But right now, as it stands, don't really want to be thinking about doing anything, going long. And it's all based on the fact that we've got FOMC. So let's just check. We've got 20 people on the stream and we have 8 likes. See if we can get those likes up to 20. please. Really want to start getting these streams moving, man. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but that one single like may be the difference between another 20 people seeing this video or not. I really appreciate it, guys, obviously. Is it important which companies are pushing the Nasdaq, or is the overview enough for an analysis? I'm not sure what you mean, Bigar. So let me read that again. Is it important which companies are pushing the Nasdaq, or is the overview enough for an analysis? For me, there's a bunch of ways you can do this, right? So you can look at the Nasdaq 100, right, and look at the strength or the weakness, right, of all 100 tech stocks, right, that make up the Nasdaq 100. And I actually used to do this. I used to stock screen them, and I would look for climactics during the market opens. Big runners and these types of things, right, in the tech sector, if the ETF was running in that direction, because I used to have a bunch of screens, and one of the screens would have all of the ETFs on there, right? And the tech sector, or basically just imagine seeing a snapshot of 10 charts, and one of those charts is really going. It's like you just immediately know, okay, the financial sector's ripping, on the open, or tech sector's weak, or healthcare is weak, or whatever, right? And being able to see that immediately helped me to be able to determine whether or not the tech sector was weak or not, right? And then inversely going over to the Nasdaq 100, and I wouldn't trade the Nasdaq 100 as an indice. I would trade strength or weakness of a particular stock within the Nasdaq 100, right? So you can look at all of those 100 stocks, get a feel for what's going on, and then think about it as a pair of scales, right? So if you have the Nasdaq 100 scales and they're equal, market opens, and you have 80% of those 100 tech stocks doing really, really well on the day, really strong on the day, right? Then the Nasdaq 100 indice should be going up, right? Whereas for me, I prefer to look at just the Nasdaq 100 because it is a total strength or weakness value of said 100 companies, right? So for me, an overview like this is more than enough. And to be honest, I don't predominantly look for these things anyway. I'm looking at the way that price is moving. And I cannot stress this enough, guys. Being, or at least having watched time in sales and used it for so long over the years, especially in the early years, some of the work that I used to do with the guy that, used to teach me how to trade, you learn to start to see price in a completely different way. I don't look at the candlesticks and say, okay, well, here's a particular doji and here's a hammer in here. I don't do all of that. I understand it. I went through all of that stuff years ago. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking at price. I'm looking at the way price is moving, right? And I'm looking at the structure. I'm looking at some very, very basic stuff, really, to be fair. And then letting the experience do the rest. If Powell doesn't do 0.75, he's basically saying the long-term health of the economy doesn't matter to the Fed. I hope he has the backbone to do what is necessary. Raising interest rates to 4% is good. But it needs to go higher, much higher. Yeah, he hasn't got backbone, man. Powell's a coward. They're all cowards. He's just a puppet, man. He's just a puppet doing as he's told. I mean, my intention is not to get, controversial on these streams, but I'm going to tell it like it is, at least the way that I see it anyway. I think the guy's a coward. He's just a puppet on a string. It's a little bit like Ultron, isn't it? There are no strings on me. This is what we need. We need an Ultron. I would love for him to come out and just say, look, things are just completely out of control. We've got no choice. We need to raise rates to 7%. And just watch the entire market just absolutely get decimated. And I say that knowing that I have money in the market, right? So I'm not saying it, I would never want anybody to lose money, of course not. But I would much rather we just reset, man, and just get it out of the way before the end of the year. Do you know what I mean? And start the year fresh. That would be fantastic, but it's very unlikely that's not going to happen, is it, to be fair? So let's start running through some scenarios, right? We've got a little bit of a bump here. I'm using the 5-minute chart so we can see everything that's happened prior, right? Nice little bump. What are people thinking? Yeah. What are traders thinking? What are institutions thinking? What are those who are in control of price per se thinking? Are they trying to trap traders long? You know, is price being manipulated pre-FOMC? I've got to start thinking about all of these things, right? Because when you look at this on the surface of it, it's like, why don't I take a long, right? There's enough of a range. There's plenty of range, actually. Got all of this void up here, you know, and not a great deal to stop price all the way up to around about 11,200. No, sorry, 11,950. Plenty of range. So would now be, you know, would now be a good time to be going long on the Nasdaq. What do you think? There's 22 points there. It's a quick scalp. You better be quick. Price is going to move. Bro, you know what? I really hope that happens for you, man. Your January 31 options, like OPEX. I really hope that happens. You know, I hope you make an absolute fortune. Good. I'm just being sarcastic. There's absolutely no way I'm taking along on this market. Not a chance. I am not in a rush to lose your money, right? Because ultimately this account really is about you guys. It's not about me, it's about that 25%, right? I want that 25% to mean something. So let's take a look and see if there's anything else moving. What's gold saying? Gold's having a bit of a run. Nice. Okay. What's the 4 hour saying? It's the daily saying. Okay. Pound USD saying, yeah, everything looks pretty much the same. 4 p.m. So where's Asian session? Okay. Yeah, 20 pip range. 20 pip range on the pound. Not something that I would want to get into. Is it worth? Yeah, that could reverse as well. I've got a 30 pip range to the downside as well. Yeah, the entire market's basically waiting for FOMC. So what we need to see is we need to see a market reversal. That's what we need to see. So 15 minutes after market open, nothing to shout home about, nothing to get excited about. Market is definitely waiting for FOMC. We may see something from now until then, but again, not expecting anything. And to be honest, when I close the stream out, I'm going to walk away. You know, I'll come back around about sort of 10 to 7 my time, 10 to 2 o'clock, you know, Eastern time. Jump back on the live stream as close to the FOMC announcement as we can get. Hang around for about 20 minutes or half an hour. If there's a great trade there, we'll take it. If there isn't, obviously we'll leave it alone, and then we'll go into the next day. Be mindful as well that we also have tomorrow, we've got Fed today, obviously FOMC. Tomorrow we're going to have core retail sales, unemployment claims, all the good stuff. And then on Friday we have services PMI. So we still have things that could potentially move the market. We've also got the euro refinancing rate, or the interest rate basically announcement tomorrow, which again shouldn't really have much of an impact on the US market, but it will have an effect on the forex market. So if you're a forex trader and you're predominantly sort of focused on forex, be mindful that the EU announcement is tomorrow. It's the SPY saying. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Gap up on the open, pretty much filled the entire gap. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I do know your plan, Sergey. I'm saying, man. Like I said, I wish you all the best. I really hope. I hope you make. I hope you make good money, man. So I would love to hear it. I would love to hear from you that you made some serious money. It's the only thing that would make me happy, in terms of what you're doing at 2 o'clock. So check this out. Look at this on the 5 minute, guys. Right, Nasdaq 5 minute. Let's zoom in, and then I'll leave you with this. Right, we've had a pop, market open, price drops, runs up, drops again, runs up a little bit, drops again, runs up a little bit. So this is showing that people want to, potentially think about it like this. There's this narrative of, ooh, look, go long, go long, go long. Might even go, right? But if you enter the market for the remainder of the day, for example, and you run it into, the FOMC announcement, you can get burnt really, really bad, right? So for me, I think it's best to just be patient, to wait for FOMC later this afternoon. And then in the meantime, just kind of let the market do its thing, let it filter through, and then ideally price runs to the upside, reverses, and then starts to drive lower so we can come down here, the 11,477 levels down here, and even lower, to be honest. I'd even go as far as to say probably 11,430, and even lower. So patience. When am I thinking BTC could hit 8,000, Hunter? I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it'll probably happen next year. There's two scenarios that may potentially happen. Bitcoin runs to the upside, right? And people get excited. I'm not saying 100% it's going to hit 8,000. That's just my belief, right? But I don't know, but I have a very, very strong belief and confidence that price is going to hit at least 11k, right? 11,655 first, and then 11k, whatever. So 11k. This is why I posted that video about 14k with that thumbnail. I like to have things on there so I can kind of point back to them and say, look, I did say, I guess more for self-preservation really than anything else. But anyway, with that said, I think they'll run Bitcoin up, sucker people in. Yep, everything's great, everything's changed, and then they'll tank it. Or more likely, they're going to continue to pound on Bitcoin as being, a waste of time. It's no good. You need to be focused on this, regulation this, regulation that. Cryptocurrency isn't safe. It's a scam, and the first quarter of next year, January, February, March sort of time, price starts to kind of bleed lower. It could be quick or it could be a bleed. I don't know which, to be honest. 25 points. ATR 13. So on the 5 minute chart, ATR 13 is 20 on the 15 minute. Yeah. I'm thinking same. I think we'll get a pretty strong crash. Yeah, it's going to happen next year. It's not going to happen this year. I'd be shocked if something happens this year. Like, honestly, I would genuinely come online and say, guys, like, I'm shocked, that the market crashed before the end of the year. So look, let's call the stream here. It doesn't look like we're going to get anything favourable. I was just literally waiting for market open, run to the upside, reversal confirmation, and then a quick short. That's not what we're getting at the moment, so that's absolutely fine. And I'll be around. I'll be around, sort of 10 to 7 this evening. We'll kind of take it from there. What have we got here? Got to run. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome, Sergio. See you later. Reese is saying, do you think there's potential for alt-like to bleed lower this year? Yeah, altcoins. Yeah, I mean, again, it depends. It depends on the chain that they're on, right? If Binance starts to take a little bit of a hit and it ends up down at 235, any project that's on the Binance Smart Chain, which is pretty much all of them that we're involved in anyway, at least, and the ones that we talk about, will ultimately go lower as well. But the broader market sentiment is the same. The broader market sentiment is the same. It's not good. Yeah. So I think just by default, pretty much everything's going to be bleeding lower, to be fair. All right, guys. We'll leave it at that. I'll catch up with you guys in a little while. I'm gonna go and get a little bit of rest, and I'll catch up with you guys on the stream later. Take it easy, guys. Ciao.